The research station orbited the neutral moon of Kepler 442c, a place where diplomats and scholars from across the galaxy gathered to study the mysteries of interspecies communication. Dr. Elena Martinez had spent 3 years there, dedicating her life to understanding the complex emotional patterns of non-human species. Her specialty was the Corvan Empire, a warrior culture that had dominated 3 star systems through sheer military might. The Corvans stood nearly 8 feet tall, with crystalline skin that shifted colors based on their emotional state. Their society valued strength above all else, and their warriors were trained from birth to suppress any sign of weakness. Most researchers found them impossible to connect with, their rigid honor codes and aggressive nature creating an impenetrable barrier to meaningful dialogue. Elena had approached them differently. Rather than trying to break down their defenses, she had studied their warrior traditions, learned their battle hymns, and most importantly, she had listened to the silence between their words. She noticed how their crystalline skin would dim when they spoke of fallen comrades, how their voices would carry subtle tremors when discussing their homeworld's dying son. Commander Vex was the highest-ranking Corvan on the station, a veteran of 40 campaigns who had earned his position through countless victories. His skin was a deep amber color, scarred from decades of combat, and his presence commanded immediate respect from every being in the facility. Most species gave him a wide berth, intimidated by his reputation and the ceremonial blade he wore at his side. But Elena had seen something others missed. During the cultural exchange sessions, while other Corvans would boast of their conquests, Vex would grow quiet. His skin would shift to darker hues, and he would stare out at the stars with an expression that seemed almost wistful. She began to suspect that beneath his warrior exterior lay depths that his own culture forbade him from exploring. Their first real conversation happened in the observation deck during the station's night cycle. Elena had been reviewing her notes when Vex appeared, moving with the silent grace that made Corvan warriors so formidable in battle. She expected him to ignore her presence, as he usually did, but instead he stopped near the viewport. "Your species fascinates me," he said without preamble, his voice carrying its usual commanding tone. "You are so small, so fragile, yet you venture into the void without fear." Elena looked up from her datapad. "We're curious by nature. The unknown calls to us." Vex's skin shifted to a lighter shade, indicating contemplation. "Curiosity is a luxury my people cannot afford. We are taught that survival depends on knowing our enemies, not understanding them." "But you're here," Elena pointed out, "on a research station dedicated to understanding." The Corvan commander was silent for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter than she had ever heard it. "The Council believes I need exposure to alien thinking to better counter our enemy's strategies. They do not know that. I have begun to question whether all aliens must be enemies." Over the following weeks, their conversations became a regular occurrence. Vex would find Elena during the quiet hours, and they would talk about philosophy, art, and the nature of consciousness itself. She learned that Corvan society had once been different, before the Great War that nearly destroyed their homeworld. They had been explorers and artists, their crystalline skin allowing them to communicate through color and light in ways that transcended mere words. The war had changed everything. Survival had demanded that they become warriors, that they suppress their natural empathy and creativity in favor of military efficiency. Generations had passed, and the Corvan people had forgotten who they used to be, remembering only the strength that had saved them from extinction. Vex confessed that he had always felt like an outsider among his own people. He experienced emotions that Corvan society considered weaknesses, felt drawn to beauty and wonder in ways that his training had tried to eliminate. He had become the perfect warrior to hide these forbidden aspects of himself, earning glory and respect while his true nature remained buried. Beneath layers of duty and honor, Elena realized that she was witnessing something unprecedented. A member of one of the galaxy's most rigid warrior cultures was opening himself to vulnerability, sharing thoughts and feelings that could be considered treasonous by his own people. She began to understand that her research had been incomplete, focusing on surface behaviors while missing the profound complexity that existed within each individual. The breakthrough came during a cultural presentation where various species shared their artistic traditions. Elena had prepared a display of human music, selecting pieces that she thought might resonate across species barriers. As the final notes of a haunting melody filled the chamber, she noticed Vex standing at the back of the room, his skin cycling through colors she had never seen before. Later, in the observation deck, he struggled to find words for what he had experienced. His skin was bright with conflicting emotions as he described how the music had awakened something within him that he thought had been permanently buried. For the first time in his adult life, he had felt the artistic soul that his people had, sacrificed in the name of survival. Elena understood then that her work wasn't really about studying alien emotions at all. It was about recognizing the universal nature of consciousness itself, the way that all sentient beings struggled with questions of identity, purpose, and connection. The Corvins weren't emotionless warriors, any more than humans were weak and fragile. They were complex beings who had been shaped by their circumstances, but not defined by them. As her assignment neared its end, Elena prepared to return to Earth to write her findings. She had gathered enough data to revolutionize the field of Vol Xenopsychology, but more importantly, she had helped the fellow consciousness recognize its own worth and complexity. The alien warrior approached her on her final day at the station. His skin displayed colors of deep gratitude mixed with sadness as he spoke the words that would stay with her forever. "You're the only one who truly understands me," Vex said, his voice carrying the weight of a lifetime of hidden thoughts and feelings. Elena realized that understanding wasn't about cataloging differences or finding similarities. It was about recognizing the fundamental dignity and complexity that existed within every conscious being, regardless of their species or culture. In helping Vex discover his own depth, she had learned that true communication transcended language, biology, and even the vast distances between stars. The universe was vast and filled with countless forms of life, but consciousness itself was the bridge that connected them all.